lightning storm. It didn't look like there for a while we'd get the game in, but I appreciate everyone sticking around, and good to get, not too long of a day, but get some cool situations, have it come down down the stretch. I think everyone that was able to play in the game got in the game, which is always a goal in the spring game, and fun to see a bunch of those young kids who haven't played a lot yet get out there and make some plays. So I think we probably, to single anyone out would not be fair. A couple guys made some big plays. Marcus Jones with that long touchdown run was fun to see Marcus have that success. Love it, finishing the game with the touchdown, and so just fun to see them out there, see them playing. Proud of the team this winter and this spring. They've worked tremendously hard, and I'm excited about where we are. We have some guys that obviously didn't play today that are healthy and will be back. And it's one of the few times in college football I think that we're entering the season with everyone slated to be healthy and ready to go for the fall season. So anxious to get the freshmen here, finish school out strong. Have the guys take a couple weeks off. A couple guys are going on mission trips. Get them back in June and really attack the summer heading into the fall. So with that, I'll see what questions you guys have.
Matt, you talked during the award ceremony about this program going back to a bowl this year. What was the motivation behind making that so public? Because some coaches can be a little guarded and others will be like what you just did.
I think I said it. I've said it pretty much every time. I mean, I didn't come here to not go to bowl games. So that's the expectation. If we don't do it, so be it. But I expect us to do it, and expect our players to do it. Just like I talk about graduating, expect them to graduate. Talk about going to graduate school, I expect them to, go to graduate school. So I don't think expectation is anything bad, and it's time that we as a program, and I can't speak for everybody else, but I know for me, my daily walk with these players, it's time that we as a program start looking ahead and stop looking backwards. And so, looking ahead, I expect us. You don't work as hard as we work, and not expect to have results. And so that's why. And so I do that because I just felt like being positive in front of our fans. I think they deserve that, and our players deserve that.
Well, Matt, just kind of following up on that. What about this spring? What have you seen in this spring that would cause you to believe that you guys can make that next step?
Work ethic. I just truly believe that everything you get in life you earn and you achieve. I think about coaches, right? Lots of coaches achieve a lot, but they don't really build something, right? And these kids are building something, and that takes hard work. And so, sometimes you can walk into a loaded roster and you just kind of win, right? These kids are building. They're building this from the ground up. And so when you see the way that they work, when you see injured guys come in at 6 o'clock in the morning the entire winter to get themselves healthy, you see guys come back, it just shows an industriousness, a work ethic that I just believe it will be rewarded. And, you talk about last year, we went from a team that was horrific early on to a team at the end that, was playing decent. We weren't good enough, but was decent. And so that work ethic allowed us to improve over the course of last season, and that work ethic has done nothing but grow this offseason to the point where it's contagious and it's cool to put extra work in. And so I think those things are what allows you to win. And that's all I've ever tried to do. I don't worry about the results. I worry about everything behind it. When you think of things behind it, then you can have expectations about where you'll end up.
Matt, how much of that is what you believe or how much you want your players to believe?
Well, I believe it, and our coaches believe it. That's what we lived our lives by. It's hard when you're 18, 19, 20, 21, 22 to think that, because success is all around our kids, right? Success is all around my son. He turns on, a music video. He sees a guy with lots of money in a cool car, and people don't know that there's no overnight sensations. I talk to our guys about in all walks of life. I don't care if it's NFL players. I don't care if it's Jay-Z. Those people had to grind to get where they are, and so. I think, as I've said a couple of times the last couple of days, last season was galvanizing for us. It allowed us to strip away all of our thoughts about what it takes to win and truly look and say, who are we, what do we stand for, what do we want to do? And so I believe it. I think we're getting to the point where our players believe it. And, so yeah, I think, as Aristotle said, you are what you repeatedly do, Excellence, therefore, is not an act but a habit, right? So I say that all the time. They kind of look at me like whatever. But the more you do it, the better you are. The more you study, you become a good student. The more you lift, you become strong. The more you play football, you become a better player. And so I see very little pushback on that. These guys are very competitive young men. They like to play and they like to practice. And so I think we're well on our way to having that mindset.
Matt, do you feel like are you a lot farther ahead than last year at this time? Or how would you say?
I just like where we are. It's not, I always want to be respectful of you guys, trying to help you guys. But I don't really think about. I don't like comparing it to last year. It's like comparing to like it's hard for me to say that. I just know I like where we are. If that makes sense. Just in terms of the numbers and the depth and the strength and how we look physically, and so. I just think we're in a good place. We're not where we need to be, but I think we're in a really, really positive place. And so, to me, there really is no comparison between the football team this year and the football team last year. But so to quantify, that's hard for me. I just think that, like I said, we have a team that's significantly more talented, significantly more developed, but also at the same time, our brains are in the right place and our guys are attacking things at a level. Like, I gave that Spirit Award to Xavier Jones. I mean, you're talking about a guy that came off a bad break and couldn't even really do much at the beginning of spring, and just willed his way to be able to practice and play. I mean, just pushed his way back on the field, and you see that, you say to yourself, wow, that's inspiring and impressive.
Coach, to build off that question, where you see, you don't really compare seasons, do you consider that the same with the quarterback competition? Because you have some of the same elements from last year with this year, where you have the incumbent starter returning, a new freshman coming in that's pretty talented, and a transfer quarterback. I was going to ask if you, how you used last year to maybe facilitate the quarterback battle this year, or is it just still completely different?
Yeah, again, I don't know that one has bearing. For me, one has bearing on the other. Last year, for people, people had played here before. They hadn't played for me before, right? So things are different. So I know Charlie's got 4 starts under his belt, I believe. He's played well. He's played well this spring. Gary's extremely talented. Gary just has to play a lot, and then Preston Hurd, quietly continues to always show us what he can do, and he went out there today, and so. I'm one of those guys who I always believe, each day you earn your take, right? Each day you earn what you get, and so I look forward to seeing how those guys develop over the summer and see what they do in preseason. But looking back to me doesn't help, but to me it's always about looking forward and saying, hey, this is what we've done today. What are we going to do tomorrow? And so I know we have a lot of growth. They're all young at that position, but Charlie's played for us, and Gary's had a good spring, and Preston's had a good spring, so I'm anxious to see them continue to develop.
Matt, Michael Johnson got the Community Service Award. Can you talk about him and what he did?
Yeah, he had a great spring until an old high school injury just kind of keep flaring up and bothering him. But we just keep track of hours, and if everyone else had maybe 10, I think he had 31. I mean, the numbers were staggering, and that's just who Michael is. He's he doesn't have anybody that's not a friend. He's caring, he's giving, he's just a wonderful young man. Really good football player, good student. But, when we heard those numbers, it was just really, really impressive that he gives back. He gives back at home, gives over spring break, he gave back, gives back here. And it was an honor to be able to give him that award because he does it quietly. He's not like, and putting it on social media when he does it. He just kind of does it, and that's fun to be around.
This was the 15th practice. Did you get what you wanted out of this today?
Yeah, to be quite honest with you, and this is so anti-me, it's amazing, but I couldn't have cared if we played today or not. This was for the players to go have fun, right? I think we blitzed 3 times today. I think offensively they've had so many injuries, receivers go down, they've just kind of drawn some things up in the dirt every once in a while. But this was to let the players go out and play and to make sure that everyone got a chance to get in and play in front of their families. They've worked really, really hard, and they've taken a lot of reps, and they've grinded. So I was happy for them. I didn't even bring the team in the locker room at the end. I got them out there. I wanted them to go thank the fans. I think we're throwing touchdowns to little kids out there. I just wanted this to be a fun day where we celebrate Baylor and Baylor football and our fans. So we've put the work in, definitely. And so look forward to the next phase.
So on that, I think you ran off 100 plays on Thursday, that scrimmage or whatever it was. What was important to take out of Thursday?
I'm just trying to think of that number. I don't think that, yeah.
Or whatever.
Yeah, no, yeah. So it's just kind of the way I've always done it. Like I've always gotten to this week. I always try to go back to back. And so Thursday, all the things like you don't want everyone to see, necessarily. I've always tried to have that be a really, really, really highly competitive day. And then let this day be a fun day, right? I mean, I'm always anxious to turn the tape on of this and see who got out there and just freaked out, right? Like who just didn't do anything they were supposed to do, and then who went out there and the moment was right for them. So, coming in this stadium, we want it to be a big deal. We want it to mean something. And so, so that's really what this is about. But Thursday was just more about the X's and O's and the development. And, as I've said, we're down our receivers. So, we have guys out there like Taekwon Thornton and Gavin, and actually not Gavin, Taekwon Thornton and RJ and Trevor and Jay and Marcus Jones. Sometimes there's that class. Sometimes we're down to like 5 receivers for 70 plays in practice, and those guys just keep going over. Quarterbacks go out there and play receiver for us. So, so that was Thursday. Today was just a little bit more, hey, slow the game down. And it was fun to get in overtime, right? I was trying to get the game to go into overtime, and I was going to cheat to get it there, and then let them play the overtime scenario. Like even if something as small as when one captain won, he had to pick which side to play on, and we're at home and he played on the scoreboard side, which would not be where we want to play. We'd want to play down, in the bowl. So just all those little things that equate to winning, that's what I'm looking for when it comes to the stadium.
Is there anyone who was not available today that you would be concerned about if he would be available for the fall?
I think I said that earlier. Everyone on this team will be, as of right now. Now things, guys get whatever, but as of right now, everyone. There's several guys that if we were playing next week, I would have probably about 15 guys back, right? So, but there's everybody on this team from Platt to everyone. Jared Atkinson standing out there. I mean, they're all available come summer.
How many guys did you have missed today?
I don't know that number. Probably I don't know, 20, maybe 15, 20. Yeah.
So Jared's back in.
He's in the process. Him and his family are in the process, but he'll be back for some of summer and be back for the fall.
No matter how many guys missed, can you still get something on film today that matters?
Oh yeah,
always get something.
I mean, the game comes down to blocking and tackling and little things, and so absolutely. I mean, the reps for the quarterbacks. It's 4th down at the end, and it's overtime. We took a sack, we didn't throw it up. I mean, there's all these teachable. But corner gets beat on the first play on a hitch and touchdown, and then comes back and has a huge pass breakup. So. I mean, anytime you do something, keep doing something, you get better and better and better. So, the thing with spring games is you start mixing the teams, and, if the offense scores a bunch of points, it means the defense didn't do real well. If the defense it's a shutout, it means the offense. So it's just, you have to come to peace with it. Because all we're really trying to do when we go against each other is just become better at our individual craft. And so if I have 4 kids that might never play a snap in a game, and they're going against 4 kids that are going to start for us, we all get better. So I think there's value in it. A lot of people are getting away from spring games. I read a lot of people are doing practices and all that. I mean, this is a chance for a lot of guys. I mean, this is their dream. They pay to go to school here and be on the football team, and their dream is to go out and play in the stadium. Their dream is to go out, and so even if it's just that, it's well worth it.
With the guys that did miss spring, is the silver lining kind of some of those younger guys that were able to get a lot of reps throughout the spring practice?
Yeah, there's a lot of guys I wouldn't have, like Chris Platt could have been out here. I wouldn't have wanted him to do spring. I didn't want Jalen Hurd to do a ton of spring. Those reps need to go to guys that are trying to develop. So spring is a developmental time for me. Like Ira Lewis, he took some snaps, but not a ton. Whereas some of those young guys, they need every rep they can get. And so, I don't look at anything. For me, everything's positive always. Everything's, any obstacle actually becomes, the way to succeed. So there's not good nor bad. So if guys hurt, it means, hey, he's going to be healthier later on, and it means someone else develops. And so we'll look back. I think we might be, Taylor has the numbers, but I think we have 49 guys coming back next year who started a game at Baylor. That's unreal. Is that you're supposed to know if it's real. Anyway.
Just say yes.
But some absurd number like that. But that's a lot of guys who, no matter what their role is, they'll walk out there the first play of a ball game and they won't flinch because they've done that before. And so those are, anytime you go through a period of adversity or what you perceive to be adversity, I always just believe it's preparing you to be better, preparing you for your moment. Bryce Petty came in and gave the pregame speech to the team, and he said some things like that, and I think that first of all, he was excellent. And second of all, I thought, that's a great message for all of us to take with us.
Will Sean Bell continue as the line coach? George back?
All up in the air, probably, up right now, all up in the air. So if George isn't doing it, Sean's doing it, and George is off the field. And if George at some point is back, then, we'll figure it out from there. But
Matt, what's your message to the team now? This is over. What is the message to them between now and August?
Well, as I told them on the field, one of the reasons why I wanted to talk on the field, I said, hey, the next time we're out here, now we'll practice out there, right? But the next time we're out here like this, it's for real. And we've got to get a lot better between now and then. And we've got to get stronger and tougher and more proficient in our craft. We have to get better. And that's not a bad thing. That's a good thing. That's all of us challenging each other to improve and understand that it takes all of us to be good and it takes all of us to win. My next challenge was to not relax now that the spring game's over, from what you do tonight through what you do in school next week, through how you finish finals. We can't relax. We've got to sprint because, we know what it feels like to be left behind, so we got to get out ahead and continue to run the race. And so my thing was don't relax, enjoy each other, but continue to try to be the best men that we can be. And that's academics, that's training, and that's everything that we do.
Coach, with the offensive line, did you see the development that you had hoped for this spring?
Absolutely. Yep. I thought I was, sorry, I'm tying my shoe here. Don't ask me why. I was, if there's any area of our team I was pleased with, it was the offensive line developing over the course of the spring. And there's a long ways to go. But I was really pleased with their physical development, their toughness. We lost Beard the last week with a sprained ankle. That I hated it for him, because he had a great spring. But I would say that's an area that we knew we had to get better at. And excited. Now you take in the injury guys. You take Malin and Blackmar and Ty Smith and Casey Phillips, put them back in the mix. And now you add in the freshman, John Carlo. And, I think we're significantly improved in that area.
Charlie, this is his second spring. We didn't get to see him much today, but how much of a step forward has he made in the last year?
He gets a lot more opportunities now than he probably got last year. Way more comfortable. He's way more physically developed. Smarter decisions, I'd say. Though he made smart. He's kind of just always been kind of a quarterback. I think he's had to. Last spring he was out there throwing to Platt and Mims and all those guys, and with as the numbers have gone down, and we're getting significantly better in the secondary. The guys aren't always quite as open, and so he's had to learn how to take what they give. He's had to learn to handle some frustration at times. He's had to move in the pocket. He's had to scramble. He's had to do all those things, and I think that's good. Sometimes with quarterbacks, you look back. A guy plays as a true freshman. He plays on instinct as a quarterback. He kind of sometimes has what's perceived as a little bit of a slump that next year, and it's like he's here as a freshman, he's playing on instinct, and if he tries to develop his skill set and all that, he might be playing right there, but everyone expects him to do this, right? And so the thing with Charlie is to never lose that natural quarterback-iness that he has, but at the same time continue to push him in all these areas. So I think he's doing that, his body's gotten a lot stronger, and I think his shoulder's healthy, so I look forward to him having a good summer and continuing to improve. There's a lot of times last year we had to go play like where we're down and it's kind of off the cuff. What happens when we have the lead, and you got to play a different style. And so all those areas of quarterbacking, I think, are going to making you an elite player.
You gave Jamie Jacobs Most Improved Offensive Player Award. What did you see from him?
It's just he started from scratch at that position, and playing tight end is so hard because you're an offensive lineman and a receiver. You're having to learn these two, different skill sets, and that's not easy. And he's got physical gifts that make him a good tight end. He can run routes. He's got body control. He's got hands. He's got explosiveness and hips. But I think he's just really teachable. Like you can coach him hard, and he just keeps coming back and keeps wanting to get better. And so I've loved every part of that about him. And so there's a lot of other guys we thought about giving that award to. I'd be remiss if I didn't talk about Jay Sedgwick and I probably caught 3 or 4 balls today, I think, and he's literally in the Baylor line the first 2 games last year. He's kicking off for us from there. He goes through all offseason thinking he's going to be a kicker, and he finds out he's a receiver. And not only has he done that, he's had some pretty cool moments in the course of this spring. And so, but his unselfishness lends into guys like Jamie. So I think Jamie's going to be a really good prospect for us.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you guys very much. Appreciate y'all.